We are getting into the end game. This was the second, and I believe maybe the last, if not second to last, side story for the March of the Machine story. This one centers around Zendikar and what Nahiri is doing to Zendikar. I feel really bad for Zendikar. Like, you know, if I was Tazri, I would be getting tired of this shit. Them, Innistrad, Amonkhet, Dominaria, Ravnica, just like, oh, not again. But I do think it's actually a really good answer for all of them on why they are maybe a little bit more prepared to fight something off like a Phyrexian invasion, because they've done this before. I like the fact that Ral is just like, oh no, I have like multiple gloves ready to handle each of the different problems we might run into from intergalactic space beings. And, well, this one's good for this situation. But back to the story of Zendikar. It opens up with Nahiri kind of in her inner monologue, listening to like how she now feels about it. Basically, she's taken the Phyrexian all that would be one philosophy and is applying it to Zendikar in the sense that she's trying to save Zendikar finally. She did a lot of work, and a lot of her life was to save Zendikar from the Eldrazi. That then was followed up by her luring Emrakul away, as a little bit petty because she brought up to Soren's home plane. But then even the story of Zendikar Rising was her and Nissa having a conflict based around her wanting to get rid of the Royal and all the elementals that had taken over the plane, bringing it back to like the core empires of before. And so this story, she's been able to take the philosophy of Phyrexia and how it kind of promises to you what you want, your family or whatever, and is saying, I'm going to complete Zendikar, therefore finally protecting it from things. And so she is in Ameria, basically taking the Skyclaves and trying to recreate that ultimate weapon that she was trying to basically create the last time she was here. But then using that to align the Hedron network to fully complete Zendikar, which, you know, she made all of that, so it makes sense. In the meantime, Tazri, using the fact that she's got Angel Visor over her head, was able to foresee that even though they were fighting at Seagate, the incoming Phyrexian invasion, that there is another threat on the plane that people should go deal with, so she sends Akiri to go there. And Akiri has a lot of experience because she was being manipulated in the last story by Nahiri, so she understands Nahiri's whole deal. She's there with a few of her own adventure friends. You got the Cleric Aura and Kaza the Wizard. And then Linvala is also there helping them as like the angel representative of the group. That's going to be very important in a second. In the meantime, Nahiri is completing all these Hedrons and the Skyclaves and has basically corrupted all the elementals in that. It kind of shows like how Omnath would be completed, though Omnath does not show up specifically in the story. Tazri, in the meantime, is fighting off all of the different people trying to attack Seagate. Protecting this wall. A sidekick named Aaron is fighting with her. I looked up Aaron to see if they had a card because both of the stories today had a lot of characters that I was like, does it have a card? Oh yeah, they do. Aaron doesn't have a card. So, he wasn't going to make it. Did not survive. He gets captured by a pod and is, visibly corrupted, and you can hear him screaming and then laughing in the pod, which is, terrifying. And, there was a character named Aaron, protecting a wall who was slowly transformed into the thing he hates, into a monster that may do a genocide. Just doesn't seem familiar at all. During this process, Tazri, the wall falls. They lose this battle, but Tazri is able to be saved by Linvala, who was coming to tell her, hey, Nahiri is doing some stuff. We got to go stop her. Can you come help us stop her? Instead, Linvala saves her, and they both go together as an adventure. Akiri finds an entrance on the Skyclave that hasn't been corrupted yet, and so Akiri and Linvala and all of they all show up and are able to get into the thing. There's a bunch of elementals there. They get through a fight. There's a moment where they all kind of get collectively stopped by elementals, but Linvala, with a little bit of Tazri's angel necklace, are able to use the power of angels to heavily repress those elementals and be able to find an escape route to get to Nahiri finally. During that process, Aura, his hand touches some Phyrexian oil and he starts getting corrupted, but he's like, I'm going to get through it. Kind of like Jason the last time, but I'm going to get through this. He's not corrupted, but he has a death sentence on his arm. A completed sentence? It's got an adjective and down and a whatever. They find Nahiri. Nahiri has fused herself to the Hedron network and the Skyclave, and is basically becoming one with all of the plane. She's throwing boulders at them and rocks and elementals, and there's a whole fight going on. But Tazri is able to throw her neck angel halo like a frisbee at Nahiri, which causes enough angelic cure damage to have Nahiri even realize what the horrifying things that she's doing is for a second, which gives Linvala enough time to like go Super Saiyan and blast the whole room with angelic power, which literally is shown evaporating the Phyrexian oil and curing aura, and just in general doing a good thing. I'm going to do a video. There's going to be a second video. I'll comment below and then link to it, talking about my thoughts on angels in Phyrexia, because today's both stories were a lot about that, and I have thoughts. But all the different, all of our party members are successfully working together. Interesting. Linvala's second card is also wizard. There's a lot of wizard representation in this group. Okay, Kiri was a warrior in the second one, but there's no rogue. Where's the rogue? Can't believe they went. This is why it almost went terribly. They went into this fight without a rogue. Regardless, they're able to pull Nahiri out of the wall, tie her down, and just start destroying the Skyclave. By doing this, they destroy the Skyclave. It starts shattering down to the bottom. They can disconnect her links to the Hedron network, which starts rebutting a lot of the Phyrexian invasion, because they've been able to gain control of the Hedron network again. So it's being used again as a defensive tool against Phyrexia, which is an interesting point, right? And it's an interesting point with a lot of the planes. It's kind of something the Wizards team has said. The Phyrexia invasion is failing partially because some of these planes have done this before. It's stated before that, one of the issues they're having is that Dominaria and Mirrodin are both single-handedly the same magic systems, and so have the same magic influences and the same magic exploits. So Phyrexia has been good at fighting that than they normally would. At the same time, New Capenna, Kaldheim, and Kamigawa are all three planes that A, have never dealt with a interplanar dimensional threat before, and B, have had a Praetor go there and learn some of the magic of that world and take some of that magic and bring it back with them. So Phyrexia has been able to, over time, create defenses against those worlds. Versus Innistrad, Zendikar, Ravnica, who are all three planes that have magic systems that work functionally different than anything that Phyrexia has seen before. Zombies and the undead on Innistrad don't need magic to keep them moving around, so they don't know how to deal with that. Zendikar has a Hedron alignment network, and Ravnica has Ral and lasers. But on the other hand, all three of those planes have dealt with their invasions before, where they fought the Eldrazi, Innistrad fought the Eldrazi, Ravnica fought Bolas. It's something that they're all the people of those planes are inherently used to and ready for. And yes, you had planeswalkers go there that were completed, that's one of the reasons that it was, Elesh Norn was sending them each of those planes, which did give her a chance to succeed there, except all of them were recently completed, so the lessons learned of both being completed as well as how to work with Phyrexia as well as using the exploits they knew about weren't really taught to Elesh Norn to best to do that. And two, were shown every single time to still have because to be able to complete a Planeswalker and have their Planeswalker ability still be there, they had to keep part of their soul. That soul was leaking out. Nahiri felt horror at what she was doing when she was hit by the angel magic. Vraska jumped back and forth between being evil Praetor or evil Phyrexian Vraska and very, very, very sad tears. Oh my God, sad Vraska. Luca monologued like an idiot. Tamio literally was having self-doubt through the entire experience, and when she was killed, it was revealed that there's a scroll magic soul version of her. If anything, I think actually some of these planes should have been better at it. The Hedron network being able to be turned on as a tool against them, I think is really creative. And they kind of did that. Now, at the very end, Nahiri crashes down to the planet to Zendikar with the Skyclaves as they hit the ground. And, it's another is she dead? No, Nahiri didn't die. And possibly when the link to Phyrexia is removed, she'll still be herself, but evil. That definitely didn't feel like a Nahiri death here. Another, didn't see the body. So far, Luca for sure dead. Tamio dead, but with a scroll spirit Kami replacing her. Nahiri didn't see the body and specifically called out there have been other times where entire buildings have fallen on her and she has survived it as not a completed character. Vraska, very specific call out on how her body was not found and likely she's not dead. Tybalt's got a rough time. He just was straight up murdered by Tyvar, no problem. Ajani is winning on Theros. Jace, we still don't know where you are, Jace. What are you doing? And this is fighting Chandra. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next two stories. I think tomorrow is the last day because previews start Wednesday. But let me know what you think. What do you think's going on? What do you think is going to happen?